Hello everybody, welcome to Zulu Neil's Martini Henry workshop again. Today we're going to look at the breech block and how you would disassemble the breech block, put it back together, and the various different component parts you're looking at. There's 5 basic types of breech block for the Martini Henry. The first pattern is the Mark 1 block. Now this is a Mark 1 block. Now the big giveaway in a Mark 1, as is any Mark 1 rifle, is there's a serial number on the side of the block. In this instance it's 1960. That's got matching component parts on the rifle, which you'll find on the barrel, the action, the sight ladder and the lever, and they're all marked the same. And another giveaway factor with the Mark 1 block is this distinctive SB or BS here. That stands for Strengthened Striker. In 1874 it was decided to redesign the breech block and put a new stouter firing pin in, a better drilling point and a better firing pin point, so they was renominated, and it was done in the 1874 production year, which then they became known as the 8074 pattern block. This one has been converted to a Mark 2 slightly later on in its time. Now normally the Mark 1 block has got none of this kind of cutaway here. This was done to clear the tumbler when it was converted to a Mark 2 standard. Now I've got a classic 1874 pattern breech block. There we go, with the clear 1874 on it. This is a Mark 2 block and it will remain constant for the lifespan of the Mark 2 rifle. One of the commonest blocks you'll come across though is the Mark III. Now in 1879, with the advent of the Martini Henry carbine, a new pattern block was designed, one that was designed to be interchangeable, and it was known as the Mark III. Now you can see on this breech block here there's the clear Mark III marking here, there's a Mark III stamping on the side of the lock nut, and also if you can see clearly inside the firing pin in this recess here, there's a stamping 3 for the Mark III firing pin. This will interchange in any rifle. It'll fit in a Mark II, fit in a Mark IV and any other carbine. Unfortunately, if you've got a Mark II block, it's unlikely to fit in a Mark III rifle or a carbine, such as the way that the Mark III block was designed. It was designed to be a little bit wider at the load point. Now, if you look at the difference in the actual load point on the block against the earlier pattern, this load point is a bit wider. Gives it a bit more stability in the block. With the advent though of the Enfield Martini, the trial rifle, and .402 caliber, which was cancelled, the block was completely redesigned. And this is an Enfield Martini block, and you can probably see on the side here it's got the EM designation for Enfield Martini, which has been scored through. In 1886, with the cancellation of the project, all Enfield Martini parts was converted to the new Martini Henry Mark IV standard, and again we can see the 1V for the Mark IV standard. Slight variations to this: it takes the Mark III firing pin, however the block is a little bit shallower and it's got a rounded nose here, which is designed to clear the thicker extractor in the breech. Now again, it's marked as 74 pattern, but if you try and put a Mark II block in a Mark IV rifle, you'll end up having to just file this little bit round on the front to clear the extractor. And the last series of the blocks is this one, which is the 303 block. Now you can see clearly on the side of this it's marked 303 EFD, which is Enfield, which is a post 1897 mark, but again it's got a narrower feed slot for the shallower 303 cartridge, and this 74 pattern block is being removed, but it gives you a good idea of what you're looking for. One interesting factor with this, you can see in the front here where the hole's been changed against its original Mark IV block and the pin been repositioned to accommodate the shallower 303 cartridge. There we go. So to disassemble the block, it's quite a simple job. All you need to do is first of all take your trusty Martini Henry action tool, which I always use, turn the lock nut into the open position as such, and then basically unscrew the block, the stop nut, which will remove the firing pin from the block. So we'll just unscrew that. It's anti-clockwise, just keep going until it pops out. There we go. So we'll unscrew it, remove the stop nut and remove the firing pin. There we go, simple as that. Now, one thing to bear in mind, again, just to identification for you guys, here we go, that's a Mark III firing pin, there's a Mark I firing pin, there's a Mark II firing pin. See the differences? Much lighter weight, and note the difference if you can, if I can zoom in on that, on the different nose points. That one's a lot finer, gets much kind of stouter firing pin, and then they made the point stronger but finer again, so it gives a better strike on the primer. Okay, to reassemble the blocks, dead easy. Simply take the mainspring, pop it on like that, and then take the breech block. Make sure I get the right one now. There we go, Mark III block with the Mark III markings on the side. Pop in the firing pin. On goes the lock nut, such that, and then just tighten it up and lock it in. Now at this point you'll feel the mainspring starting to compress, which is good. If you find now it's starting to bind, just be careful you're not trapping the mainspring. The other thing of course to note with this, if you've got a Mark II lock nut, what I'm tightening in now, and try and put it in a Mark III block, it won't fit, it's too long. So what you'll end up having to do is either grinding some off or getting hold of a new lock nut. Okay, so we'll bottom that out, turn it to the lock point. Now you can see there the two little crescent line up. Turn that, and that'll lock the block on. The last job is then to make sure that the slot in the firing pin is lined up. Now there's two versions of the slot. There's a long and a short. So there we go. Short and long. If your firing pin is not striking the primer hard enough and setting it off, turn it to the short setting. It'll pull the mainspring back and just give it a little bit more power on the striker. So that's it. Simple job. Stripping a breech block in a Martini Henry. Have fun, guys. Thanks for looking.